Okay, does everyone see that? So the stored procedure signaled the exception here, but it was caught by Java over here. So that's client server right here. Java's the client in this case. Here's the server telling the client something went wrong and was caught by the exception handler in Java, which is exactly the way it's supposed to work. Okay? Any questions on that one? And I will post this new version um, up to my website so it's fixed, right? So we'll get this here. We'll get this all fixed. All right. The next example just shows how you can call a stored procedure and get a result set back. It actually works very similar to anything else. I mean, you do the connection, you create a callable statement, you execute it, but this time instead of just executing it, because we're expecting a result set back, we check to see if the stored procedure returned anything. If it returns anything, it returns true. If it doesn't return anything, it returns false. So if this doesn't return a result set, it'll return false, and there's no reason to go any further. Otherwise, we get our result set back from the stored procedure by saying call.getResultSet, which is pretty much the same thing we did to get the integer value, the primary key back, but we did call.getInt. This time we want to get the entire stored result set. Once we get the result set, we can loop through the result set the same way we did in all the other cases. In this particular case, I'm using what they call the argument or the column name instead of the column index. The index is faster because it's an integer. But this is a little safer because if the columns are reordered or something, you won't get the wrong data if you do it this way. So there's good and bad parts about doing it this way. All right, so that is pretty much it for getting a result set back. And this should show you the information we got. I guess we could run this list amp. I'm not even sure I've got this employee table. Let's see. Thread exception A0 out of bounds. And it's expecting us to pass in the username and password, which we can do. I think it's username and password once. I'm just going to pass in. Oh, I didn't recompile it. Okay, so it goes in and it executes the stored procedure and gets a result set back. And you can see the output there. Questions on that one? Again, that one was on the video. That's pretty straightforward. The next one is getting multiple result sets back. So we have this stored procedure, which is going to execute 3 SQL statements, and it's going to create 3 result sets. This is pretty similar. The main difference is that you're going to need an extra loop. So everything pretty much goes the same way. You execute it, and you store the result. This time, instead of doing a simple if statement, I'm going to store the result in a Boolean variable, more result sets. And instead of using an if, because there's more than one, I'm going to use a while. That's true. And it's pretty straightforward. You just get result sets while you have them. Get the result set. In this particular case, we're going back to the metadata to print out the columns and the values, and the column names here and the column values here, because it's multiple result sets. They're not all going to be the same. Then at the end, you just say more result sets equals call.get more result sets. So if it has got more result sets, it'll stay true until it filters through all three. So there's a little bit of a little extra work and a loop, but that's about it. Array index out of bounds. Really don't need this. Like, no, let's just go null null. Okay. You know what? We may actually. I'm not sure why that's happening. It's the world record count database. Oh, here we go. Wrong database. We may actually want to go in as. Okay, it worked that time. I was connecting to the wrong database. This stuff was in the world database, not the test database. That's why that didn't work. So that worked that time. Any questions on that one? We're going to get into a Java version in a moment. I've already got it out there, and I'll show it to you. This is a JavaScript version, which you can do under Tomcat. Before I do that,